Avengers!
Hey there, hi there, hello there. Welcome to an all-new episode of Talking Smack, where we talk superheroes, movies, animation, comics, and much, much more. I am your host, Josh Scar, and joining me as always is my favorite co-host, Alex. Alex, what is up with you today?
Not a lot's up with me. I'm just feeling like just a VMAX kind of life today, man. Humidity's rolling in. I didn't get a lot of great sleep last night, but that's okay. What about you?
I'm having a weird ass day, man. At noon, it was almost like I'm not even being hyperbolic and like silly. It was like I was just sitting in my office at work today, and like just something washed over me, and I went, I think it's time to make a mistake. And I went and made a mistake, and then like my coworkers made mistakes, and there was just like this weird aura around us from like the rest of the day from noon onward. It was just really strange. Like, it wasn't a terrible mistake that I made, but it was just like a brain fart that caused a fairly short-term disruption to our day. And then everyone else in my group that we have at work also was just like, I think something should break. And then something like went and broke when they went to try and use it. It was just so bizarre.
See, it was the power of positive thinking. You were projecting that into reality. You're like, something
I was
needs to break.
projecting, let's fuck some shit up.
Exactly. And what's crazy is you're a forklift driver, so you got the pass for all that stuff. If something broke, it's fine. You have that forklift driver energy that just makes the panties drop.
Sometimes I wish we did video because I can't convey this face or this feeling to hearing someone say you're a forklift driver, so let the panties drop. I don't know where you're supposed to go from that.
Maybe episode 400 we'll switch to audio or video form, because my room will finally be done.
My dream is to just rip off Space Ghost coast to coast with like a VTuber concept where we have the VTuber, we have the avatars, we just throw those into whatever VTuber program that they have, and then like I'm at a desk, you're in a litter box or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
We just talk back and forth at each other, and then if we have a guest, they just show up on a video board and we just kind of transition. But
okay, that cannot be difficult. I need to look into this.
I
think I know.
I mean, it has to be able to do the hands, because the other part is VTuber hands are always just like stuck at their sides, so they start laughing, they start getting it animated, and all it is the head going back and forth or side to side. Yeah, maybe the VTuber stuff has gotten better, but like when I was watching more VTuber stuff, like that's all it was. It's just like, it is a little disconcerting to see the characters with just like their hands barely moving at their sides, and then their head just going back in laughter as they cackle.
Oh, it's a lot better now. That especially since they have integrated a lot of jiggle physics.
Jizzle physics, you say?
So we can give you some great pecs. So when you laugh, you do like the pec bounce.
Just like the guy from Bloodsport that beats up Jean-Claude Van Damme's friend.
Yes. There's a like a 42-year-old reference for everybody.
Hey, that's the first time I saw man boobies bounce, man. And that was like, I was like, yeah, I want to learn how to do that.
Oh, I actually told one of my trainers, I'm like, how do we figure out how to do it? And he's just like, I don't know how to teach that. I'm like, can you do it? And he just started doing it. I'm like, I apparently do not have like the like mental isolation ability. Like, I can wiggle my ears because I'm a cat. But check like pec bounce, I cannot figure it out. Then one of my other trainers is like, okay, I can do it, but I have to like do the bodybuilder pose when I do it. So everything has to be tensed, and then I can like feel it. I can't just do it standing still.
See, because of Bloodsport, like I just taught myself how to do that. So like,
oh, neat.
I kind of do it absentmindedly now, where I'm just like, yeah, but like I can also do the Jim Carrey like eyebrow twitch. Right eye, left eye, right eye, left eye. Like as a kid, I was like, I need to know how to do these things. And like, I just took the time to do it. And now it's like just completely subliminal for me to just be like, yeah, let's twitch those pecs for a minute. Not that I have pecs, I have man boobs. Just I eat too much Culver's.
If I did not have feline pattern baldness, I would probably also be able to do the Conan Wiggle hair, the Conan O'Brien hair wiggle. So,
oh, the back and forth that he does, yeah.
Yeah, because I can wiggle my my cat ears, and I can wiggle my forehead, but due to like I said, the feline pattern baldness, it doesn't. You can't tell anything. It's just like, why are you making a face?
It's not interesting without the hair toupee moving.
No, it just looks like I'm about to attack them. You get that big eyed.
Well, speaking of people about to attack, we got to hear from Liam, Scott, and Greg over at I Have Some Notes. They're getting ready to come back for their next season of podcasting. So we're going to hear from them. And when we come back, we're going to talk Spider-Man Brand New Day. We'll be right back.
I'm Liam Creswick.
I'm Scott C. Bourgeois.
I'm Greg Beaver.
And we host I Have Some Notes, the podcast with cuts, keeps, punch-ups, and tweaks on mediocre movies.
Each episode, we pitch potential script revisions and different production choices in an attempt to improve the films that didn't quite reach their potential.
From Armageddon to Zack Snyder's Justice League, we invite you to be armchair screenwriters with us as we swap notes, riff, and celebrate the middle list of movies.
Subscribe now to I Have Some Notes.
And speaking of the middle list of movies, we are here to talk Spider-Man Brand New Day. Starting with the most important question, Alex, did you like it?
I was thinking about this movie today because we saw it last night. That's right, everyone. We are bougie as hell. We have Amazon Prime memberships, and
they don't know when we recorded this, Alex. They don't know when last night is.
Damn it! So we got to see it.
We don't live stream the recordings.
We should. When we have our VTuber mods, we will.
I'm down.
So we saw it a day and a half ahead of time. That's right. You guys be jealous. We saw it on a Wednesday, and it technically comes out Friday, though apparently showing started like at 9 a.m. Thursday morning.
What's even better is the fact that AMC is so dumb. How dumb are they? AMC is so dumb that they put these special releases on their 50% off Wednesday deals, and they didn't bother they didn't bother adding in like any kind of special clauses and catches for like, oh, not a new releases, not a day one releases. So we got these tickets at half cost.
Yeah, it was great. It was only $49.99 a ticket. Actually, it was under $8, which was like stunning. I was like, is it 2014 again? Holy crap.
Remember like $2 Tuesdays when we had Cara sodas?
It was so nice. I remember, I have this distinct memory back.
This is just becoming the nostalgia podcast all of a sudden. Remember when Spider-Man movies were fun?
Remember when movie theaters used to be attached to malls?
I told my kids about that the other day. We have that Sports and More that's in the area where the movie theater used to be. And we were in there a few weeks ago. And I was just like, in this area, I saw Paul Hogan and Elijah Wood in Flipper.
That's awesome.
Saw Harriet the Spy, Good Burger, all the Lost in Space with Joey from Friends. Matt LeBlanc, that's his name.
I saw, my aunt took me to see Black Beauty, and it was like 50 cents because the movie had been out for like 3 months. And I remember like, because my mom gave us a few dollars. And so we went there, we got that, and she was like, oh, the movie's really cheap. So then we were able to get like each M&Ms, and then afterward, as we're walking back to the mall to go find my mom, because apparently my mom didn't care when she was like shopping somewhere, we got an ice cream as well, all for like $3. It was awesome.
And like the best part was you could get out of the movie theater and take like 50 steps, what would it be, south from the same area, and you'd be in an awesome arcade.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. That's right.
Aladdin's Palace or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in the area, but that must have been just a design feature because there was a great arcade because they had the Terminator 2 game, and that was awesome.
I used to play Mortal Kombat 2 in ours a lot. Like whenever I would convince my parents to take me to the mall and just let me stay there, that was pretty much where I spent my allowance, was in the arcade playing Mortal Kombat.
Oh, I can see that. So yeah, it's right. You asked me if I had fun with this movie.
Well, I said, did you like the movie?
Did I like it?
I think the answer for did you have fun is unequivocally no.
I liked it with caveats. That's about as far as I can go before we get into spoilers. Well, I
I'm
mean,
more or
I mean, we
less-
can talk about other stuff, but
I'm more or less the same. I think the movie is fine. If we're talking, if I were to not blind rank, if I were to rank this above any of the other Spider-Man movies, really, I think it would be Amazing Spider-Man 2. I still don't know that I fully accept Spider-Man 3 being at the bottom, but I know a lot of people would get mad if I did not say Spider-Man 3 just above Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then I think you can tell me either Far From Home or this movie as like the next worst. Like, I don't think it's necessarily indicative of the quality of the film,
Mhm.
but I don't think this one has the rewatchability. I don't think this one has the fun factor. There's just something missing in a lot of the Spider-Man stuff that is just really lacking for this film. And I think a little bit of it is the fact that it just kind of loses focus of Spider-Man for a pretty good stretch of the back end of the movie.
if for some reason I had to rank it, it would be somewhere either the middle bottom. For me, Spider-Man 1 or 2 are just fantastic. I love brand new Homecoming because it felt tangential and novel to the MCU when it was made. Because really the only thing we got with it was, oh yeah, Tony Stark shows up a few times. But it felt self-contained. It felt its own beast. I did not like Far From Home. I liked Mysterio, but I didn't like how big and bombastic the movie became and that everything was tied back to Tony.
I also didn't like the fact that they were so far away from New York. Like, I know it's called
Yeah.
Far From Home, but I think a big part of what the Spider-Man movies have been missing, not to interrupt your point, but a big part of what the Marvel Spider-Man movies have been missing is New York. And that's
Yeah.
one thing this movie does really well is it is in New York, and there is a lot of it.
New York, it lives and breathes New York, which is fantastic. I liked No Way Home, but there is a lot of rose-colored glasses because we're seeing all three of our Spider-Man in it. And I can't really say that's a Spider-Man movie, despite there being three Spider-Man, because it's purposely baiting a nostalgia film. And its intention was to be, this is the big introduction to the multiverse, which almost immediately collapsed after that film was done. And now, apparently, with Doomsday, it's just wiping the slate clean. So it's a relic of something that could have been. But again, it was to facilitate a grander story of we are introducing new stuff into it, kind of like Iron Man 2. I don't like Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2. I think Garfield is a good Spider-Man. He's a terrible Peter Parker.
Yes.
And it was made in that era where they were just switching to like digital film, and you could really let actors just roll, and you can tell that like he and Emma Stone were just like flirting with each other with barely a contained script to get to scene, because they're like, there's so much chemistry here. There is so much I really like about this film, and I really do want to get into things I really loved, but it does feel like, because of the further integration into the MCU, that I'm losing a little bit of Spider-Man, because there were certain plot beats that felt like Feige was sitting there going, you have to make sure that the audience knows what's coming. You got to get that in there. And so they were treating it as a great character exploration. Like, I loved so much of this film. I think there's more screen time with the Spider-Man costume of just an actor in a Spider-Man costume than all the other movies combined because of just how
that
much
was something
Tom
that I
Holland's-
really noticed towards the back end of the second act. I was like, he's still in the mask. Like, what is happening here that he has been in this suit a majority of this film and in the mask? This is crazy.
Yeah, he's just, so much of the film, he's literally just with other actors, with other people, just not even just like doing backflips or anything. He's just walking down the street in the suit. He's just hanging out in the suit by himself. He's talking to people as Spider-Man. Like, I love that. I love that. DeWolf, I believe, was
Gene DeWolf, yeah.
the commissioner. I love that he has a relationship with her, that they're calling each other, and she's like, and she even is like, listen, you have to toe the line, or I'm going to have to arrest you. I love that. I love that they have this relationship. I love that bad things happen, and instead of like the Toby and Andrew ones, he would just take off. He was hanging around trying to help them, asking questions, all in the suit, just hanging out, trying to be the person who solves things. I loved that. Like, I at one point was like, did they just get a stand-in? Like, no, that looks like Tom Holland's body and mannerisms. I'm pretty sure that's just Holland just hanging out with all these people. It was great. I really loved it. But it wasn't a total home run for me because it still had that MCU baggage that didn't quite let it break free the way I wanted it to.
This isn't a huge spoiler. If you've seen the trailers for this film, I think it stands to reason you know what MCU characters are in this film. But the two main ones that we see, because there is a like secret third one that we'll talk about a little bit. But the two main ones that we've seen in other things previously are Frank Castle's Punisher and Bruce Banner Hulk. I was in one of my groups last night just trying to wrap my head around the movie and like seeing what other people thought of it, seeing how like the people who were more enthused about the final product were and what they loved about it. And one person made a really great point that I hadn't connected to. And that is that the two characters that we get that Peter is teaming up with in some fashion are isolationists. They are characters who separate from the rest of the group because either A, they're too broken to do anything with people. Like they just don't want to be around people. They're in their own world doing their own thing. And that's Frank Castle. And then you have the Hulk who is separating because he is trying to protect people. And those are the two sides of the coin that Peter is kind of on throughout most of this film, with the whole spider DNA thing happening, which we'll get more into that in spoilers because I have thoughts on that. I really like that juxtaposition that this person had kind of created was, or maybe it was intentional. But I hadn't connected those dots. I thought it was just more MCU synergy stuff and like, oh, we haven't done Hulk and Punisher with Peter. So that was something that they just threw in there. But if that was an intentional choice, I do really like it. And it does put a little bit more of a better spin on the MCU integration for this film for me. I still think that the main villains of the film aren't great. The villains serve a different purpose than just helping with a Spider-Man story. But it also just feels very low stakes, which I know a lot of people have been asking for out of like a Spider-Man and standalone films. But I still feel like there needs to be a better stake than what we got out of this. And I think that's really where I felt more disappointed than anything, is that the villain was predictable. If you had a guess as to who Sadie Sink is playing, you've probably guessed it. I was talking with a friend at work today about how people immediately guessed who she was playing. And it reminded me of when Rocksteady had announced Arkham Knight. Who is Arkham Knight? Arkham Knight's a brand new character that we're introducing into the Batman lore. And everyone, including myself, was like, it's Jason Todd. Like, no, it's Arkham Knight. He's brand new character. Arkham Knight, he's brand new. And like, no, Arkham Knight may be brand new, but he's Jason Todd. Under the mask, he's Jason Todd. He looks like Jason Todd in the Battle of the Cowl stuff. He just has a military color scheme instead of a Batman blue color scheme. Like, no, but Arkham Knight, he's brand new. Like, yeah, but he's Jason Todd. And that's what we've been dealing with for like 2 years now since they announced Sadie Sink has been in the cast. Everyone's like, oh, she's playing her. And they're like, no, you don't even know. You'll never even guess. Like, no, she's playing her. No, you're way off base. We kept it a secret this whole time. We're on the red carpet and no one knows. It's such a like disingenuous middle finger to like the internet. I know like the internet can be annoying, but this one especially, where they're just like, it's a secret, you'll never know. And to like, I didn't know definitively until we saw the reveal in the film. But I also had it in the back of my head that if it is this reveal, it's kind of lackluster and disappointing. And we had talked previously with the trailer reveal of like what the trailer seems to be insinuating as far as the storyline goes. And I didn't want that to be my expectation, but I was kind of hoping for it because we talked about how it seems like it's leaning into body horror. They completely got rid of the black hand thing that he had in the trailers.
I was going to bring that up because I looked for that and I was like, why is his hand fine?
Yeah, they just completely got rid of it. I'm guessing they had probably done some body horror stuff and they just completely cut it through test screenings. That would be my best guess. And I had even talked again, the same friend I talked to about the Arkham Knight thing. I had said before we went to the movie last night, I was like, my money is on, because this is a Spider-Man film, they can't lean too far into the body horror because kids are going to see this movie and they don't want to scare kids away from Spider-Man. So my guess is he's just going to have this black crap on his hand. He's going to rip it off and he's going to have the organic web shooters. Like that would be the extent of it. And they didn't even do that.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with that aspect, but one of the things actually I really liked about this film is that they hung on to the weight of being Peter Parker and Spider-Man, which it kind of annoys me and kind of doesn't, because the all three Spider-Man MCU Spider-Man films, it's about, and in the end I have to embrace being like I am Spider-Man. And this one, it's in the end I have to embrace that I'm Peter Parker, which kind of is a little bit of a cop out, but I enjoyed seeing an emotional toll of just somebody, of Parker down on his luck, no friends, no life. The last 4.5-ish years have sucked for him because nobody knows who he is. And he has just pushed himself. I also give massive, massive props to Destin Daniel Cretton. He did Shang-Chi. And the cinematographer, Brett Pollack. This movie is the first movie I've seen in probably 2 or 3 years that I'm like, oh, that's right. The world actually has color in it. The reds and blues are vibrant. The hands close are vibrant. People's clothing is vibrant. Spider-Man is not just flipping through dark alleyways when they have darkness. With Spider-Man, it is intentional. Like there's a shot in that movie that if poor Sam Raimi, if he hadn't been foisted Venom onto him, he probably would have used. There's a scene, Spider-Man's arachnid metamorphosis causes him to have some Venom-like syndromes where he just emotionally gets overwhelmed and acts like an asshole. And there's a great bit where he is fighting a bad guy. They purposely play with the shadows so it looks like his entire mask and suit have become black as he's staring at the person and beating them. And then when it begins to back off, like when he recaptures himself, like, oh shit, I've done something terrible. And he backs up into the light again, and the light comes back onto the color comes back onto it. That was great. Great use of shadow, great use of that. In a normal MCU film, we would never notice that because the MCU palette since probably Thor Ragnarok is browns.
Yeah, I have the same note that the Arachnid storyline seemed to be kind of like a little twist on the Venom storyline, since they don't seem intent on doing that anytime soon, or maybe it's like a precursor to it, where after Secret Wars, he's gonna get the black suit and he's just gonna be like, oh, it's just my Arachnid stuff. I can get a handle on it. And then obviously the Venom stuff plays out. One of the other compliments I have for this, even though it's maybe a grand total of like 20 seconds of screen time, I think the camera work for the swinging is some of the best we've seen in any of the Spider-Man movies.
So good. So it hasn't been this good since Spider-Man 2. Like when he's swinging with MJ, it is very similar to those tight close-up fluid moments of Spider-Man 2 where he's swinging with Mary Jane.
Well,
but
I
this
mean,
one looks even
some
better.
of this, yeah, some of this is like it's on par, if not. I mean, I think it's better than what we get the first time we see the Andrew Garfield suit in The Amazing Spider-Man. That entire first trailer is just a first-person perspective of him jumping and swinging and landing on a glass window, where you see the reflection of the suit and the mask. Where this one, they take a lot of liberties or a lot of leads from the Spider-Man video games from the PS4 and PS5. You can see a lot of influences from that in this in terms of how they film and created a lot of these shots and digital effects. And I'm not saying that is necessarily a bad thing. Although there are a few moments where I was just like, Sony's just making a commercial for the video game right now. But overall, I really, really dug a lot of the cinematography for this because Destin Daniel Cretton, as we've said, he worked on Shang-Chi. He worked with color too in Shang-Chi, where like the scene after they recruit his sister, like there's that neon John Wick style fight. He knows how to use a color palette. And that carries over into this. The only issue I had with the color palette is that it was just constantly overcast in New York the entire time. There was no sunlight. It was just always a gray sky.
Well, it's because in the trailers I found out they filmed in Glasgow.
Glasgow, Quebec.
Pinewood Studios. One other thing, this is the first time since I feel like Spider-Man 2 where they nailed the suit. Like Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, I really loved his suit because to me it looked like a suit somebody had made but also stolen like fabric from, because it kind of had that early 2000s Under Armour Nike wicking kind of fabric texture to it, but also the raised ridges for the black. That was like kind of like basketball texture-ish. I loved that look. This suit is just a spandex suit that looks great. When he's moving, you can see all the wrinkles in his shoulders. When he's breathing, you can see that it's just hugging him. When he takes off his shirts and stuff like that, it's like, oh no, those aren't Batman abs. Those are legit abs underneath your suit. I feel like they did a little bit with the helmet, because the helmet since Toby has basically been like a shell that they put on him, and his chin only can move a little bit. This one had a lot more chin action. And you can still tell it's a shell because the ears never move. They're just that. But they adjusted it to allow more expression because he was going to be in it so much. It looks great. Like, I loved watching him just walk around in it because I'm like, it's moving, it's breathing. It doesn't look like that fake body armor that Thor and all the superheroes end up having, where it's like, oh, for some reason we have an 8-pack V-ab on that. It's Kevlar for Captain America. You know, it just looks great.
And it's not like skin tight either. Like there is room. Like we see it in the trailer. There's a shot where he's doing the stretching bit, and you can see that it is not just a skin tight suit like the original suit was that they got him in Civil War and in Homecoming. That suit is just skin tight. Where this one, it is a little more loose, and it's got a little more movement to it, where it does feel like they never digitally touched this one up, where the original MCU suit is pretty much all digital. Like they have some form of it that Tom Holland is wearing, but then they just completely replaced it digitally, which is why it's so sleek and smooth. Whereas this one, it really feels a lot more tactile.
Yeah, because when they do a flashback and he's in the Scarlet Spider suit, you can tell that that's an old body suit, because like it has that raised texture. It's slightly armored. He's a little more stiff in it. So I loved it. There really is so much to love in this film. I am just so disappointed the story didn't quite match it, and that pisses me off, because it's one of the funniest Spider-Man movies. Like, I thought I've been wanting a Deadpool and Spider-Man film. Instead, they gave us a Punisher and Spider-Man 1, which I didn't know I needed. I liked it. I don't think John Barenthal is playing necessarily the Spider-Man from the Netflix Punisher. I'm not Spider-Man, the Punisher.
I can agree with that. His catchphrase apparently is "bah."
I did not watch the Punisher video movie that dropped in May. I should have, but I didn't. So I don't know if they've softened him, kind of like Charlie Day is not quite the same Daredevil as from Netflix, even though they're treating it as kind of canon.
Charlie Cox,
thank you. That's right. Charlie Day is from Always Sunny.
And he's also in
Always Sunny.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
I don't watch Always Sunny, so I don't know. I can't confirm.
I've tried watching it once because they're like, oh, Alex, you love kind of like awkward humor stuff, British humor. I'm like, yeah, I love British humor. It's like, you got to watch Always Sunny. I got through like maybe 5 minutes of an episode. I'm like, I'm out. I don't like cringy, hurt me humor.
I just don't like I don't like my show when every character's character arc is, I'm the asshole this week.
That's why you never like Seinfeld.
Exactly.
But this Punisher, he works for me. I dug it. We got another joke about something that happened apparently off screen, like Black Widow and Hawkeye used to have, when they're like, "Whoa, whatever happened
Budapest.
in Budapest," and now it's like, "Remember, I saved your ass in Staten Island." He's like, "You didn't." I love that. I love that. It's great. The two of them are working towards the same goal. The problem is the processy is way different from and he knows Spider-Man's durable as hell. So yeah, we get one or two shots of him just completely unloading some weapon at Spider-Man.
He runs Spider-Man over completely with the battle van.
Yep.
It's like, the kid's in my way. Bah.
Grenade launcher straight to the chest. Also appreciated. I think I told you, remember, I was saying that before we watched No Way Home, I mentioned that I'd watched Spider-Man, Raimi's Spider-Man, and I mentioned how much blood Toby had to suffer, was spitting up blood all the time. Hey, they gave us that. The Punisher gets kicked in the chest super hard, spits up a mouthful of blood, and then Spider-Man gets stabbed through the stomach, and also spits up a ton of blood. Not the PG-13 Marvel blood of like, no, they're like
a little cut in the lip.
Yeah. No, there's just so much to like. It just would be with spoilers where I can say what I dislike.
Yeah, I still would say this is a must see. It's not necessarily you need to see this because the MCU is back, baby. It's a Spider-Man adventure that has the Punisher, the Hulk, and an interesting story. The heart of that story just wasn't there for me, and I don't know if it's because they kind of went around it and did the thing that we've been asking for a long time of stop making Peter Parker's villains personal interest stories. And they just went, okay, fine. Because like every Raimi villain needed to have some kind of emotional attachment to Peter. And then they kind of did the same thing in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but in a much worse way. And then everyone in the MCU was like, Tony Stark made this villain and now you get to fight him.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
Which I guess Tony created DODC, so
that's what I was going to mention.
But yeah, it must see for me, Alex.
It's a must see. The problem with Spider-Man movies to me is if I'm ranking it just purely against the Marvel output we've had the last 7-ish years, obviously it's a must see because it's one of the best things that's come out of Marvel recently. But I'm ranking it against Spider-Man movies because we've had 9 Spider-Man movies in the last 24 years. So we get one every like 2.5 years, basically. This is one of the longest gaps at 5 years. Yeah, 3. Yeah, it's 9.
Are you counting the
Raimi
Spider-Verse movies?
Oh, I'm not. That would be 11.
So we've got 3
Raimi, 2 Garfield,
4 Spider-Man,
4 Holland.
Yeah,
that's
and 9. And then the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
which like I don't know. It's not a fair comparison with the Spider-Verse movies.
No.
Like even Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Spider-Man Across
Beyond
the
Spider-Verse?
Beyond the Spider-Verse is number 3. Across the Spider-Verse is number 2.
There we go.
Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse, even that one is still really good, although it's contingent on being part 1 of a part 2. So,
which I love. The part 2 was supposed to be a year later, and they're like 2 years, 3. It'll be done when it's done.
Even after they released it, they were like, by the way, we haven't even started production on this.
And rumor is that apparently they scrapped it last year and started all the way over again. But no, we've had 9 live action Spider-Man movies, so I'm have to compare it against the other live action ones, and it's somewhere in the middle. It's best I can rank it at right now. Maybe I'll have to rewatch it and see if I feel better about it. But it's a must see. It's like if it's a Marvel, if it's an MCU movie, it's like yes, must see. Totally, we are kind of back, baby. In terms of Spider-Man's, yeah, it's must see, but there's baggage.
Agreed. So we're going to move into spoilers to start really kind of dissecting what we didn't like about this. I really want to start at the end, if that's okay, because there's something. The end is very uplifting. The final line of the film is Jacob Batalon looking at Peter after they do their handshake, because the entire movie has played out where MJ and Ned do not remember Peter. And Peter sees Ned sitting at a diner and he walks up to him because they've met at the party before, and he just is like, "Hey, man," and then he like reaches out to shake his hand, and Peter starts doing their handshake, and it just kind of becomes a like something that Ned had like just it had come back to him, and he ends with this really beautiful performance of Peter, like just he sees Peter for the first time in forever, and it comes across so well. And they being Kevin Feige and other people behind the scenes had said that someone remembers Peter after the spell had happened, and they had teased it. I thought it might have been Hulk after the Hulk fight, because after Peter's like, "I'm your friend," and the Hulk just kind of chills out when he like kind of sees beyond the mask and he sees Peter, or at least Peter's eyes, and the Hulk chills out. I was like, "Oh, that's a cool twist," because yeah, Hulk wasn't around. They are two distinct personalities. Hulk would remember Peter, even though I don't know that they've ever actually interacted with each other, but maybe there's like, you could muddy the waters in some fashion. But I was like, Hulk remembering Peter would make sense, and it's a nice little twist on things because Hulk loves Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of the Hulk's favorite people in the comics. So like I appreciated that when it seemed that way. But then the movie ended with Ned, and I was like, I really like that performance, but I was really hoping it would be Hulk that remembers Peter.
See, I was hoping to discuss this with you because the crux of the film is that Peter Parker's alone, so he's always Spider-Man, which I laughed so hard because there's a great moment where he had a cute woman who's like, "Hey, you live on the same floor I do." Cut to the next scene, he's like, "I'll take the asbestos floor no one lives on." To the landlord. Loves that. Even when the emotional moments with MJ happens, and she just straight up tells him, "I don't remember who you are. I have no memory, recollection, anything. I don't love the person you're in love with." Like, that was great, heartbreaking. Loved
I
it.
thought them throwing in the "I don't love you" line was a little too much. Her saying "I don't remember you," I think is enough, because she can't
Yeah.
love someone she doesn't remember. But they have to like throw in that extra knife to be like, yeah, she really needs to drive this point home. And I'm like, no, you don't. It's just mean.
I mean, it is. But what I think, see, I get your interpretation of the Ned scene. I do not know if Ned remembers him. To me, that is Ned having his wish fulfilled of he's been tracking Spider-Man. He even made a Spider-Man spot tracker app that he's like, he said in the film, he's like, I just want to meet him once, and like he could take his mask off and just introduce himself to me, and I'll be totally cool. I won't tell anybody. I to me wasn't sure if Ned was remembering or
if he was connecting the
Ned
dots
was-
when MJ said, "Good luck, Peter."
yeah, you could look Peter. He's
Which
like,
I-
"Oh, how do you know?"
I think that's a great ambiguity to the ending, because they could walk it back either way. They could
Yeah.
either be like, yeah, the handshake reignited something in Ned because he has magic in his family that we talked about in No Way Home. Or they could just be like, he connected the dots and the handshake was just like a weird thing where he's just following the flow, which I don't know. I feel like it's still too mean for them to be like, yeah, Ned did the handshake and was like, Peter. And he still doesn't remember him. He's just like, "Oh, you're Spider-Man. Oh my God." Like, oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's too mean to have MJ say, "I don't love you. I don't remember you." And then also having Ned just being like, "Oh, hey, MJ said Spider-Man's name was Peter. That happens to be you. And we just did this cool handshake. Awesome."
Yeah, I don't know. See, there's a part of me that really likes a miserable Spider-Man. Now, I'm not saying he can't grow up, he can't get married, he can't have the kids, all that stuff. But there's a part of me that really hopes that in the next film, they still don't remember him. Because some things should be permanent in the damn MCU. Some things. I mean, Tony's back, Cap's back. Some things. Meet the
But
spell
Tony's not really.
permanent.
RDJ is back.
We'll find out if he's like Tony from 815 or something, you know.
He's Tony Stark from Rockford.
Yes. Battle Planet Tony.
So I'm going to channel my inner Matt here, and I apologize in advance. He doesn't listen, so I don't have to worry about saying I apologize for being a Matt for a second. Sam Raimi did a lot more harm than good to Spider-Man, I think, in terms of the comic books and the perception of Spider-Man. Peter Parker has a lot of trauma and damage in his life, yes.
Yes.
But he persists. He still continues to be happy. He still continues to try and pursue happiness. He is not, oh man, Uncle Ben died, Aunt May died, MJ doesn't like me anymore. Harry kicked me out of the apartment because he figured out I banged Felicia. I have no money. I can't afford rent this week. J. Jonah Jameson hates me. The only good part of my life is swinging through New York and people's recognizing me as Spider-Man. That's the only good part of my life. No, Peter Parker has friends. Peter Parker loves life. Peter Parker enjoys shit. He enjoys he's a spider.
I know what you mean.
Peter Parker enjoys doing stuff and being with people and being a superhero as well as trying to have a normal life. He loves a good slice of pizza. He has joy, and Sam Raimi just took so much of that away because he really needed Peter Parker to have an emotional arc in every installment of his trilogy.
Yeah.
And it's done way, it's like, shout out to Griffin at Reboot Deboot and Renegade Jester Twitch streaming channel. He's very much wrong in the fact that he thinks Batman is a bad dad, because Batman is a good dad. It's just that there is a public perception of Batman as a bad dad because 2 or 3 Robins have died under his watch. Not his fault necessarily, other than the fact that he is like, yes, you can come be a crime fighter with me. And then they go rogue and they get killed by the Joker or whoever.
It's a little much to have like a 12-year-old Robin. and then how can a 12-year-old go rogue, Josh?
Well, sometimes they get kidnapped by the Joker and get infused with Joker gas and Joker's consciousness to be buried for 40 years.
And then
sometimes
Terry McGillis
shit
has to
goes
handle it.
weird. And then the next generation has to handle it. Yeah, exactly.
Love you, Terry McGillis.
But Peter Parker is a joyful person at heart. Yes, he has trauma. Yes, he has drama. He has the Parker luck. But he is a happy person at the end of the day. And these movies, for the most part, the MCU version of Peter Parker, he is still kind of a happy person at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, they really make it a codependent process where his happiness is dependent on who he has in his immediate group of friends, particularly Ned and MJ. And that part, I think, is a little, it's not toxic, but he can have other friends. And we see that, like, he's made friends with Frank, even though he's kept Frank at a little bit of an arm's reach where he doesn't take off his mask and there's a distance between them. But he has a rapport with Frank. He has a rapport with other people, but he is keeping them at a distance because of reasons. Like, I really don't, that's another part of this movie I don't fully understand is, okay, he's protecting MJ and Ned by not being with them, telling them who he is and his identity. Even though he could technically be like, hey, I'm Peter Parker. I think it'd be cool if we hung out. And that's it. Like, there's nothing in here that really signifies that if he says, oh, by the way, I'm Peter Parker, they're going to be like, oh, cool, Peter Parker. Then they like lose eye contact with him and then they immediately forget him. Like, to me, it sounds like the spell is a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to forget who Peter Parker is, and then he could just go and reintroduce himself to people. They didn't really establish the stakes of what that spell did. And so the fact that Peter has just isolated himself for 4 years, he doesn't even have acquaintances at, like, one of the best callbacks that I saw is that he had a shirt that said Delmar's Deli. That's the place where he gets the sandwich in Homecoming when the guy's speaking Spanish to one of his guys, like, hey, this kid's got a super hot aunt. And Peter's like, "Hey, how's your daughter doing?" Like, I like that callback, but like he has no rapport with anyone out there. Like he goes and buys flowers once a month or once a week for Aunt May's grave, and the cashiers aren't like, "Oh, hey, Peter, how you doing?" I don't know why I went really Wisconsin with that, but I mean, I can't really do New York. "Hey, Peter, how you doing?" Like, how's it go?" Like, I don't know. Don't need to do voices, but that's one of the things I think the movie really did not care to really lay out is what the spell truly affected, because that's one thing that I think they needed to kind of answer is what is going on with Peter after the spell is cast and what ripple effect does the spell have?
I get that. I personally like to see my Spider-Man just struggle, which yes, it is shaped by, I kind of like the cartoon, basically, something always bad to happen to him. And whenever I bought a comic, it seemed like, oh, I'm in high school or college and I'm broke. So that just shaped a lot of it. But you're right. Peter's joy is not that he's Spider-Man. Yes, he loves being Spider-Man because it allows his inner jackass to come out quite a bit with his quips and his anger, not anger, his agility, and that he can be more than his piddly little apartment and all that. And I do understand that, like, yeah, Raimi's has now for 25 years shaped what people expect from Spider-Man, which is crappy apartment, crappy life. His only outlet is swinging, and he's never going to quite be happy because someone's always in danger in his life.
And he's always 6 months behind on rent.
Always 6 months behind on rent. There's always a girl in his apartment, which, by the way, I have said then, and I'll say again, Ursula over Mary Jane. Take the win, Peter. She made
Especially
you cookies.
That version of Mary Jane, like,
yes.
Ursula, she probably could have gotten him free rent.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, that's not a reason to get into a relationship, but I mean, people have gotten into relationships for less. Yeah. She bakes some cookies. She makes some delicious chocolate cake.
Yeah, exactly. I want a Spider-Man movie in the MCU that the villain is not related to Tony Stark being a dick. And when it turned out that the true villain of this is Metzger from the DODC, Department of Damage Control, I was so pissed because it was like, once again, Tony's influence shapes the MCU, because the first movie, the Vulture, got screwed over by the DODC. The second movie, he called it Project Barf. The third movie, was it really Tony's fault? Who was the bad guy in that one?
Peter was kind of the bad guy. I mean,
we'll say it's Tony's fault.
Didn't Green Goblin steal a bunch of Stark tech to be in the big fight at the end?
Yes. They stole a bunch of crap.
And then they also had like the fabricator at Happy's apartment.
Yeah, there we go.
So like they had a bunch of Stark tech in Happy's apartment that the bad guys got a hold of.
And now once again, here we are back. I mean, I kind of dug Scorpion returning. That was cool. I did like the little montage of him, like, was Scorpion, Tombstone, and maybe one other classic villain.
It was a lot of the Hand.
The Hand, yep. He took out all the Hand and Tombstone.
Scorpion, and yeah, there was one other one, but I'm blanking on who it was now.
I liked that, but that it was damage control with not Tech Stark, the alien tech. Once
Chitauri.
Again, the Chitauri tech. I was like, come on, I don't need that. But I now need you to show me your street cred as much as possible, your nerd cred. The big reveal is that the villain is trying to break into the DODC to find out what VMAX is. And it turns out the villain is a young woman named Elaine Gray. Thank you, Jean Elaine Gray. And she's doing this because she has these telepathy powers, allows her to project herself and hop body to body. And she's looking for her sister Sarah that got kidnapped by the DODC. Who the hell is Sarah, and why have I never heard of her?
Legitimately, I have no idea. I'm not that deep into the X-Men lore, but I would assume that she is Jean Grey's sister from the comics. Maybe she had telepathy powers as well. I'm not sure, but that reveal was so, even our audience, no one really responded because we had a full house. There,
Oh,
we
yeah.
had some good
Sold out.
responses to things.
Second
Like
biggest theater in the.
I really had to laugh when MJ kisses Ezra Bridger, even though that's like the only time he shows up on the screen. But when she kissed, someone in our theater yelled "boo," and I was really appreciative of that boo in that moment because, like, yes, it created a moment of levity for us, but also I remember the outrage that happened 10 years ago, or 9 years ago, when they revealed that Zendaya is MJ in this universe, and they're like, she can't be MJ. She's not white and a redhead. You're destroying her legacy. And now someone is so invested in her being MJ that they felt the need to chime up in a theater and boo her kissing another man. I really actually appreciated that because I was like, thank you. So
I did look it up real quick. So Sarah Jean is only mentioned a few times in the comics.
Sarah Gray.
Sarah Gray. She's the older sister of Jean Grey, and Jean wiped her memory to block out that she was a mutant. So she has she moved on and had some kids, and then she started campaigning for mutant rights and was killed off panel a few issues later. So really minor character. So that's why apparently she's not really featured. The emotional payoff of what VMAX is,
So
dude,
bad.
sucker punched
bad.
me. You didn't like it?
Really? No, I thought that was dumb.
To me it hurt that her brain was so scrambled because DODC grabbed her and was was forcefully making her powers activate so that they could match the jump patterns so they could biologically replicate them so that they could have like soldiers jump, which I was like, okay, that's the bullshit.
They want to recreate the brainwave patterns to try and see if they can't get someone to do it. Yeah.
And
which nefarious, but
yeah,
for me, I think it didn't resonate with me because I was so disappointed that it was Jean Grey. And it took me a long while into the film to justify the behavior that she is undergoing because she is not X-Men Jean Grey yet. She is just Jean Grey, the teenager who is trying to find out what happened to her sister. She is on a mission and she's using the only skill she has to get there. I understand that. There's just a disconnect for me because you want me to resonate with this character who will become X-Man Jean Grey. But right now she's abusing her power to get the thing that she wants to avenge or find her sister, which I understand, but does it need to be Jean Grey? Jean Grey, the only reason you use Jean Grey in this situation is to try and get me to just automatically feel for her after we find out. It's a manipulation tactic that I just couldn't justify in the moment. I'm going to go see this movie again with Ricky Saturday. So I don't know if I'll have a different opinion upon a second viewing, but it really feels like they just use Jean Grey as a way to manipulate us into feeling more sympathy for her than if it were just another Spider-Man character, if they had made it Betty Brant instead of Jean Grey.
I can definitely see that. For me, that is part of the baggage of being in the MCU, which is that they reintroduced the DODC again, which I really don't give a crap about. They introduce, in theory, mutants with Jean Grey. They're obviously going to lead to something. I mean, she leaves town. Maybe she goes to Xavier School. Who knows? It seems to be building to leading to things. Yelena is briefly in it, which good on Florence Pugh. Good on you. You get a paycheck and you hang out and you get to hang out in a spa tub for 2 days to film some scenes. Which is her accent getting worse or thicker the longer these movies go on? I swear the accent's getting like way, way worse.
I really just want her to be Black Widow Yelena again. I know she's leading the new Avengers at this point, and so she's got a lot of weight on her. But she still isn't as fun as she was in Black Widow. And I really want her to get back to that level of fun because she can, we know she can be dramatic. She did that in Black Widow, but she can also still be fun, just like Peter Parker can be fucking happy.
Yeah. But this version of Jean Grey, which is using, abusing, damaging, hurting people, and see, the VMAX thing did for me because the last thing apparently her sister telepathically sent out to her was the word VMAX. That caught her from who knows where, cross continent, wherever the hell she was. So she made it to New York and is attacking DODC centers. And what triggers her, I'm assuming a Phoenix-like power surge, is
it's just another mutant evolution because Jean Grey is telepathic and telekinetic.
Okay, so she's constantly getting these pulses sent to her to make her mind jump so they can graph them. And she looks up and sees that the vent above her is a VMAX vent. So her sister's last thoughts was a telekinetic burst of seeing this vent above her before she was overwhelmed and died from being abused by the DODC. That worked for me. I felt that. What I didn't feel was the fact that she apparently can control and freeze everybody within a 1 kilometer radius. And instead of being locked, like, because when she's jumping, the people just kind of black out and then come back to in the window, like, where the hell am I? No, they're frozen and they cut around New York of all these people in pain, frozen, crying because they're just locked within their own body. Their minds are active and they can't do anything but suffer. To me, that's worse in some manner than what Scarlet Witch did in WandaVision.
I think the difference is WandaVision was over the course of many weeks.
Yeah.
Where this was maybe half an hour.
Yeah.
Like it's still going to be traumatic for the people of New York, but I really found it funny that there's like a guided tour happening on a double-decker bus where they're like, oh, by the way, this entire street was destroyed during the Battle of New York in Avengers 1. And then a giant tank comes rolling through and Spider-Man just barely saves them. And it's like, if anyone's living in this city anymore, it's like you might as well just live in Gotham with the Batman universe because there's a gunfight, explosions happening everywhere in the city every fucking day.
And crime is down to historic levels.
Because of Spider-Man, and yet still shit like this is happening. So
yeah, because he blacked
out. You
probably
have no insurance, or if you do have insurance, that your premiums are ridiculously high.
Oh yeah,
you can't get
insured
just
in that city.
insane. And
no.
It's just there has to be a suspension of disbelief of like every other day is absolutely fine in New York except for this one day when Spider-Man encounters Jean Grey hopping into a grandma who's going to go steal a tank and free Scorpion from Supermax prison. I also don't like that Scorpion's suit is a suit. Part of what makes Scorpion a good villain is the fact that he is stuck in that suit, but he just gets to take it off and it's a super suit for him.
So last thing I want to mention about Spider-Man, I don't know if it's part of his evolution process. Why does sometimes he sound like he's Tony Soprano and other times he just sounds like generic Midwestern? Because I caught it once or twice. He's intentionally doing it, the like super heavy accent to the police. But then like to DeWolf, it's just his normal with a little bit of the like, hey, the Bronx, and go Yankees, here. Man. We're walking here. We're gonna go get a cappuccino and see the Gaba de Goosh, and gonna go pay a visit to the we're in land management, yeah. But then everyone else, he's like, hey guys, how you doing? That's like, I'm Peter. That was weird.
I mean, I appreciate the effort to bring a little bit of the New York in because. I mean, I'm sure that's something that a lot of New Yorkers really like us. Every now and again, the Wisconsin comes out and we'll
waste management.
Yeah. Department of Damage Control. What you want? I think it's just a little bit of flavor that they'll add in. Like, oh, he's talking to the boys in blue. Let's let's be a little more rowdy.
Yeah, we're
but
gonna get a little rowdy. We're gonna go down to the DB4. We're gonna go get some dingers, and then we're gonna go get some doggies, and we're gonna watch the Sox get pummeled by my Yankees, and I'm never
there
gonna
you go.
cross the river.
Good
Yeah.
save. Good save.
And then we don't listen. The New York Giants and the New York Jets. I understand. We gotta go over. We gotta go to Long Island. New Jersey for it. But it's okay. It's okay. It's our property. We bought that.
So I've got a couple more notes.
Sure.
My first note is every plot thread just kind of stops at some point to a transition into a different line of thought for the story.
You mean DeWolf disappearing for like 55 minutes?
DeWolf disappearing after we get the symbiote storyline kind of happening with the mutation.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, you need to figure this shit out and straighten yourself out before I have to bring you in because you're crossing that line. And then she's just gone and Peter's like, oh, I've discovered a cure. And the mutation storyline just kind of stops for the next third of the film.
Uh-huh.
But the mutation storyline also, like I said, just stops. It's a big part of the first act of the film after we get the introduction stuff done, where he's blacking out. He's overstimulated due to his powers. He develops organic web shooters. He just talks to Bruce Banner for a couple hours, and they figure out a way to do it. And he has a mini Tony Stark fabricator thing from No Way Home, and he figures it out. And then the end result is, oh, I accept both sides of me. I accept the spider side of me, and I accept the man side of me. That's why I'm Spider-Man. It's not a fucking resolution. It's a cop-out, because the reason his arachnid DNA hormones are spiking is because he's isolated and sad, and it's the Spider-Man 2 shit where he gets to choose when he wants to have his powers or how much of his powers he wants to have at any given time. And I don't like that because there's no resolution to it other than it's up to him. And that's not a story arc. That's not a character progression.
I definitely agree with that. I do like some of the references to him. Well, not reference. The homages to him figuring out how to use organic webbing, where he was basically doing stuff Toby did. Figuring it out, and it's all awkward now because we have seen a Spider-Man that's basically been developed. He's been Spider-Man since Civil War. He's been doing it for a few months.
He showed up on the scene as Spider-Man.
Yeah. So now we're getting him trying to learn his powers. I like that. I also super, super love the difference between his mechanical shooters. There's like precision spray patterns, and the organic ones, it's very organic. The way it's
messy.
Spreads out differently. It's messy. It leaves these cool designs. I love that, and I'm going to be pissed if somebody at the VFX studio forgot that software update, and the next time we see him, he's shooting regular webbing again. No, give me that weird, creepy funnel web spider webbing. Some of that stuff he was doing when fighting the Hand, where you saw some people that he's strung up from light pole posts, and it's all this organic, beautiful, gross looking webbing. Keep that. But the resolution there was no resolution. Apparently the resolution was, okay, I accept I'm a spider and I'm more powerful now. That didn't do much for me either, because it was only in service that he was getting his ass kicked by the Hand. Well, Jean Grey controlling the Hand, which they're all dead, right? Because one of those guys stabbed himself through the stomach to stab Peter in the stomach.
I mean, in a way, yes, but Jean Grey killed him, not Peter.
Right. I'm just saying that, like, when
at least one of them is dead. Peter took care of the rest of them, and they're all just webbed up.
Well, I'm just saying because he had to keep beating them up over and over and over. I'm assuming they're dead.
Maybe I'm kind of on the opposite side of that spectrum with you with the organic web shooters. Like, I don't want those. I don't need or want organic web shooters because it creates a really weird. It creates an extra layer of suspension of disbelief, because I can believe he has a program in his web shooters in his HUD where he can be like web grenade, web ball, so I can like pelt people in the head with non-lethal rounds, essentially.
Yeah. That was cool.
I can accept that with mechanical web shooters. I can't accept that with organic web shooters. The only thing he can do with organic web shooters is maybe throw a web or throw a strand of webbing and swing. the way they had him like twisting his wrists together to do the final thing where he like makes the big cacophony of webbing to subdue
funnel.
everyone in the big fight.
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that was a cool touch where he's just like, yeah, I can only go forward, but if I do this, I'm going to alter the way it disperses and I'm going to make something cool happen. I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, if I'm given the choice of do I want Spider-Man with organic web shooters or do I want Spider-Man with mechanical web shooters, I want Spider-Man with mechanical web shooters.
No, I agree with you for everything you said. And that's one of the things I loved about the comics and I loved about the cartoons is there ends up being situations where he runs out of webbing and he has to now just use his other powers. He has to figure his way out of this stuff. And that was one of my favorite parts of it was like, I mean, yes, they did it time and time again in the cartoon. It's like, oh no, I'm out. Now what am I going to do?
Yeah,
I love that.
that's one of the limitations that I think I like the Holland Spider-Man movies for doing that, where they're just like, oh, he's got a belt that's got extra cartridges. It's never an issue. Like I'm fine with that because him running out of web fluid, that's such a tropey thing to do that I'm like through the 90s animated series, like I'm just like I'm out of that trope because they used it so much.
Yeah, but for me growing up and seeing that it was a young man who had to outthink things. He wasn't Superman, he wasn't Batman. He ran out of power, he ran out of strength, he ran out of webbing. You never really see Batman run out of bangarang.
Bangarang. Shout out to Dante Bosco, who should have been in Avatar: Aang the Last Airbender.
Hell yeah. He never ran out of batarangs. He always had another car, he always had another plane. That was the limit. That's part of the limitation of Spider-Man is he only has and can do so much. I'm just saying that if they're going to since it looks like they're keeping the organic, keep it messy,
Ooh.
keep it gross, keep it weird.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. But with the way they ended the film, it really seems like they're either just saying he's going back to the organic web shooters because he's rebalanced himself and he doesn't have, he's going back to the mechanical web shooters because he's rebalanced himself. He's found that inner balance and the organic web shooters are gone. Or again, they're going to escalate it to the point where they're going to do the symbiote storyline and the organic web shooters are going to kind of be something that Venom's going to like absorb and take over after he detaches, and maybe they'll retcon it away that way. There's too many things with the organic web shooters that I just don't like, which again, it takes away from Peter's intelligence factor because there's a great conversation with him and Ned where Ned's asking him a whole bunch of personal questions and Peter's like, don't you want to ask me like how I make my webs? And he's like, I know. It's a nylon polymer that you have in a fluid state in your web shooters that are constantly running through a cycle. And then once it hits air, as you hit the trigger, it becomes tactile and tensile. And he's just like, hey, yeah, I mean, cool. You seem to know your shit. And I that was a great conversation. It was really fun. If you have organic web shooters, it's just like, does it come out of anywhere else? Which they did that joke in No Way Home.
Yeah, true. That's very true. I cannot argue with that at all.
There's too many other issues that come up with organic web shooters. So I don't know. But my main thing is this movie just really feels like they got to a point in whatever storyline they were doing and they needed to pivot because they either thought it was going to get to it was either going to be too scary or they really just needed to hit that ending mark with Jean Grey. Because we have this whole mutation storyline building with Peter Parker. His eyes are turning black. He's got organic web shooters. And we have that whole thing that they made a big point of in the original trailer and that we get the background narration from Keith David on, where there's 3 different stages. And they even foreshadow that like the spider
molting
and coming out of itself, its old skin.
Black.
Now it's a bigger tarantula and Peter's just like, huh? Nothing comes of it. There's no moment where Peter starts to like feel like he's going to break out of his skin. There's no mention of like, my ribs hurt. What's going on with my ribs? He's not going to grow extra limbs. There's nothing that they foreshadow with this mutation that is just beyond your hormone levels are crazy and you're your eyes turn black sometimes. It just there's a weird transition away from something that it seems like they were originally building towards with this film, and they went away from it for whatever reason, whether it be they didn't want to do a body horror, it was going to be too scary for kids. They really wanted to do a backdoor for Jean Grey and the X-Men. There's just something in here that just keeps pivoting away from a storyline that they were trying to do, because we also have to kind of re-examine the Doctor Strange spell, and they don't really spend a whole lot of time with that other than reinforcing, which I'm grateful for. I really am grateful that it seems like they stuck to their guns and went, no, we're not just going to have MJ remember, and we're not going to have Ned just remember, although it seems like they might be going that way with the way the movie ends. But that's also very open-ended. It could be one of two things, really.
You just reminded me of something. Thank you so much.
It's what I do.
Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is a better person than Wonder Woman.
I think I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going with it. But yeah, so you get this big, beautiful, emotional moment. The whole like Peter saves MJ because Jean Grey's after her, and they're on a rooftop together, and she's like, how do I know you? And he kind of starts to admit some stuff. And then they do the fold up the mask just under the nose thing from, the Toby movies, and they kiss, and she's like, I remember you, Peter, and they hug and all this stuff. And then Jean Grey's just like, let it all out, because she's been controlling her that entire time to fuck with him. And I love it. She's like, really, really, Peter, you're so pathetic. You think true love's first kiss is going to bring this back after what happened? Well, after Jean gets her body back, Peter...
You mean MJ?
Sorry. MJ gets her body back. Peter later on says like, hey, listen, when you were mind controlled, we kissed and had a thing. And she's like, oh, well, thank you for telling me. I appreciate it. I don't remember it, but thank you for letting me know. Versus Wonder Woman, who her old lover takes over a guy's body, and she just sleeps with him the whole movie, knowing that this is some other dude who her lover's somehow incarnating briefly. And at the end of the movie, she kind of walks by the guy who's no longer being inherited, Chris Pine's no longer inside of, and he kind of vaguely remembers that, oh yeah, I was sexually assaulted by this woman repeatedly. And they treat it like a romantic moment.
I didn't like MJ's response to it, where she's like, well, I don't remember it, so it's fine.
I did not like that.
I didn't. I doubt that line was that's gross. That's a little bit too far of a line for that for me.
I agree with that. I didn't like that part. I did like that he apologized.
Yes, him apologizing was class act. I think MJ saying, I don't remember that, but I appreciate you telling me, that's all that she needs to say.
Yep. Instead, she kind of was like, I don't remember it, so what does it matter? It's like, no, I didn't like that part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. They didn't think that line through.
No. It was almost a good movie. So close.
I really don't know where you go with the film that they gave us, the product that they gave us on screen, to make it good, other than I think you do something with, you get rid of Jean. Jean is ancillary. Like I said, she's only there to give us empathy towards this character. I don't know who you replace her with in the Spider-Man pantheon of characters, because either way, the omnipresent DODC and their evil ways of manipulating tech and people into doing Tony Stark's will posthumously. I don't know. There's stuff that's missing. I would have liked to have seen just like an escalation of the opening montage where you see Peter take out lower level thugs and build his way up to like Tombstone. You can do a street level story that escalates just to him taking out a mob boss, a gangster boss, whoever. And Tombstone is a Hulk level character. He's indestructible. He's really hard to beat up. He feels no pain. And I wish they would have done a better design for Tombstone. That design for Tombstone was really bad. They just made him like an albino with shark teeth. It was really strange. But I that's a movie I would love to see, is that opening montage. It's kind of like the montage in Captain America: The First Avenger, where it's like, oh, all of a sudden we're at the end of this story that we just saw the start of. This one, I really would have loved to have just seen that escalation of do a Batman story with Spider-Man, where he's doing detective work with the police and just it escalates into something bigger. And it doesn't have to be a world destructive plan. It could be just, we need to take down this mob boss because he's harming people in the city. He's distributing drugs. He's distributing guns. He's doing something that is putting people in danger and we have to stop it. That's all it has to be. And in this one, again, it's not a world ending thing. Peter Parker is essentially saving one life in this, in Jean Grey, but I feel nothing for it because
Yeah.
Jean has done nothing to earn my empathy throughout the film until they reveal it's Jean Grey and she's trying to find her sister.
Yeah, I agree with that because basically what Jean is Jean is the breadcrumb that is, we will have mutants soon. Don't worry about it. We got this. And so what do? They bring in one of the biggest mutant possible. We bring in a wayward mutant. We bring in the wayward mutant that was being hinted at by Xavier during X-Men 2. X-Men 2, where that, we were keeping your powers under control, Jean, because who knows what happens with them. Well, now her powers have another level to them. She can control and block and stop more people than we've ever seen Xavier do in the films. We've never seen Xavier trap blocks of people at once, frozen in stasis. We saw some hints like end of
he can like freeze an area of time.
Yeah, where he froze an area.
He freezes an area of people. Yeah, he just like gets them to just stop it. And I mean, I'm grateful that they did not foreshadow a Phoenix thing because Jean Grey is not the Phoenix. The Phoenix is its own specific entity that inhabits Jean Grey.
No, the Phoenix is her unleashing her full powers. You know this, Josh. It is not an alien symbiont inside of her.
Fox and Rupert Murdoch wants you to believe.
It is not an alien inside of her that actually is controlling her, that she sometimes can and cannot control. That's a symbiotic relationship. No, it is just an alternate part of her personality
that created a clone body of her that left her in a hibernative state at the bottom of the ocean for years, and then she had to go onto an alien trial after the Phoenix had dissolved and disappeared, and she had to stand trial in its place. No, none of that. No,
it's not that at all. I mean, just like it's we know that the MCU is not just going to go ahead and redo the Dark Phoenix saga for the third time. It would be like introducing the Fantastic Four and bringing the Silver Surfer and Galacticus in right away. It's not going to happen.
You're making me sad for how quickly this X-Men thing in the MCU is going to escalate, and I don't want that.
Hey, what I'm hoping for is we have Cyclops back, right? And Cyclops doing super beams. And supposedly in the background, the giant things walking around are Sentinels. So I'm hoping we finally get a badass Cyclops. The Cyclops we have been denied for like 24 years now.
The Cyclops that we have seen in X-Men 97. And
yes.
I love how much glazing they did for Cyclops in season 1 of X-Men 97. That opening sequence of him free falling and then using his optic blast to slow his descent and land, like, so good.
Whoever wrote, I mean, the writer creator first season of X-Men 97, watch X-Men 1, 2, 3, and then like First Class, and just sat there, just hate writing amazing Cyclops scenes. We're like, Cyclops does not suck. He does not. He's amazing. Look at these things I can make him do.
One thing I did see from Comic-Con that was actually really cool, which I forgot to talk about last week, is they did have some of the costumes from Doomsday out there. And they had the Cyclops suit out there. And not only is it the comic accurate 90s style suit with the yellow strap belt thing and the blue onesie, but the chest on the onesie still has that like X outline that was on the suit. So it's still paying homage to what James Marsden's Cyclops has been before, but it's also showing you this is a good brand new Cyclops that you can actually love. And you
it
can even
looks
see that detail in the
amazing.
toys too.
Oh, yes, it looks amazing. Oh, that looks so good.
So if you want to join in on
hoping.
the discussion about how good the Cyclops and other X-Men suits look for Doomsday, you can join us in the Discord. Alex, let everyone know about said Discord.
tsmackpod@gmail.com. That's the link to get to Discord. It's right down below. You can get a click on that. There's also a link to it on our website, which is tsmackpod.com. Yeah, feel free to join us where we post news, thoughts, opinions, all kinds of stuff. Like we found out today that Wonder Man, which had been approved for season 2 back in March, is canceled.
One of my friend at work told me, like, he was reading his phone. He said, Wonder Man canceled? I was like, no, they just renewed it for season 2. I have a podcast and I know this. This is, they gave it a season 2. And he's like, no, it's been canceled. And I'm just like, bullshit. So I go and Google it and I see that it's been canceled. And I just go, I'm sorry. I thought because I had a podcast, I knew. It reminded me of when I worked at GameStop and Call of Duty World at War had come out around the same time as Left 4 Dead. And this mom came in and she goes, I'm here for the new zombie game. And I'm like, Left 4 Dead right over here. And she says, no, I'm looking for a Call of Duty game with zombies. And in my head, I have that moment from Mallrats where one of the guy from Boy Meets World is like, you dumb bastard. It's a boat, not a schooner. And I was just like, you dumb bastard. Call of Duty doesn't have zombies. And then like I tell my boss after she leaves, I'm like, she wanted the Call of Duty game with zombies. And he goes, World at War does have zombies. He's like, fuck. I'm the asshole.
But
There's a TV show out there.
That one
I
cell, Josh,
skipped over
is why they're going downhill.
Email us at tsmackpod@gmail.com. Follow us at Talking Smack Pod. Thank you to Leo Allen. There's a TV show you should watch. It's called Star Trek. Thank you to Beppo for a Ricky Avatar. Bye. I forgot I didn't do the Beppo one because we're doing Marvel. So that scared me for a second. I heard Mjolnir and I had a little panic attack of, did I hit the wrong button?
You know what we should just start doing? We should just pre-record that outro, and then so it's the outro with the monologue and the music, and just talk over. That way we have like 4 layers of like it just crap going.
I think the few people that listen to us would have stopped listening immediately after that.
How dare you? More than a few people listen to us. There are dozens.
You dumb bastard.